let's talk about some travel corridors. So I'll zoom in. I spent a lot of my early archery season. I was lucky enough to come out to the Midwest and hunt or be with my dad when he'd be out there hunting. And it's a totally different type of a feel. So um, I'll just turn this off. These aren't even properties that I've hunted. So let me turn the Illinois layers off. And I'll tell you guys too, if you guys, where's my, oh, okay. So my layers, I'm gonna turn on the private lands off. If you guys find that onX is being a little bit buggy, turn some layers off. A lot of times it'll help it load faster, okay? So let's just pretend that you had this whole block right here to yourself, all right? You can see that these are crop fields, all right? And I mean, if you zoom in, you can just, you just gotta know that these are crop fields. You can see how the tractor spun around here. It was planting stuff, okay? It's relatively flat. Go to the topo map. Let's do that. And you can see, like I said, a lot of times like the green will be woods. This might be some of onX's shading. On your old like US GC, whatever the government topo maps, usually like they might have it green for like state game lands, but white is almost always a field. So you don't have to worry about that because you got the hybrid map right here. If you guys notice though, I rarely ever just work on satellite alone. I mean, it's just almost foolish. Now, they do have a feature, and I don't mess with this much, it's buggy, I think, the 3D layer. So maybe on a computer, it's fast. Yeah, see, I shouldn't even clicked it. But that's an interesting one. In fact, while I'm on that subject, I'll show you something kind of cool is Google Earth. Google Earth has some badass 3D features. So if you guys ever played around with that or haven't, check it out, all right? So if you guys are like me, your head should be spinning. You know, there's fields here. You see these hollows, ridges, ravines, this territory like that, right? You should be thinking, okay, if I'm a deer, where am I laying down and how am I going to get to that food source? If that's a food source. And as a hunter, you should be saying, hey, if that's a deer eating this food source, where can he bed that he feels safe? And I'd be looking around in this knob here, all right? So if you're new to topo maps and stuff like that, maybe you want to play with like Google Earth where you can really see the terrain features better like this, and then kind of ease your way into onX. So if you see the different colors here, it's because it's different satellite imagery that's stitched together, all right? So, but I did want to show you guys the Google Earth stuff. It's pretty cool. All right, so let's go back to Illinois here, and I'll probably end up in a different farm. It's all right. So hunting fingers and things like that, right? This one's loaded with them. It's pretty cool. Okay, so usually out in the Midwest, we got big blocks of property. One block would be like 1 mile by 1 mile, 640 acres, right? There's 640 acres a square mile. And that's how a lot of things are blocked off. So this has a weird nuance in the road. We don't really know why, but I bet you if I put on the hybrid, you can see the topography. Aha, let's go to the topo map. See it? There's some terrain features here, and it has to do with probably this water. See that creek coming through here? And the road is going to have to accommodate that, all that water sources like that. So that a lot of times if you see a weird bend in the roads though, there's some sort of topography thing going on, okay? So let's just talk about this farm right here. I've never seen this in my life, all right? You know there's probably some cattle on here because there's a nice pond, right? Retention pond. A lot of times you'll see the weird little bushes and stuff like that. A lot of times that's in the cattle pastures, okay? But what always attracts me are these fingers. And usually you'll see the topography line with that, okay? The reality is most farmers want to farm the maximum yields that they can. And the reason that the trees are there is not because they love deer hunters. It's because it was just too steep for their tractors, all right? And They just let that grow up. So you can see it on the topo map, these draws, and again, accompanied by water. All right. So that's something to check in on. So let's just say you're doing a November hunt, and it's warm, man, those deer got to drink some water, right? So probably less likely to run out to that open pond right there, but more likely to hit this creek bottom here. All right. There's a house right here, so they're probably not going to hit that, maybe at nighttime, right? So let's just say that you had access right here to hunt, and you wanted to hunt one of these features. A couple things that I like to do is make a couple notes. So let's add a waypoint here, and let's put it. One of the things I used to do when I first started hunting the Midwest, I drag this, is I'd find a nice thick draw like that, and I put my stand right smack dab in the middle. And I can tell you guys from experience, that's not really the best way to do it. Okay, it's just the big woods mentality. I've had a lot of success on inside corners like this, and at the tips of fingers. And believe it or not, a deer will a lot of times work its way to the tip of that finger and walk right across this open field and go to the next place. Who knows where, okay? Because if you look at this map, you got to use the context clues. Where can somebody see that deer in this field? And unless it's shotgun season in Illinois, if it's archery, nobody's seeing that deer. That deer is not really scared. So one thing though to consider is that point, you might have trouble getting a stand in there, okay? Zooming in, I like this spot even more. There's a fence line that comes straight down through there, okay? I might want to check out a spot like this, all right? And something you can do is start adding some different waypoints and get an idea of where you want to go. And if you do not have the luxury to go out and look for food sources and to actually scout that area, what I like to do is pick a couple points and then look at what the wind's doing. And then say, okay, let's just say that we have the wind coming out of the southeast, and it's blowing up that fence line. This might be a really good spot to hunt, or maybe here where your wind's blowing up through that way. Okay, but you get that same thing coming from the northwest, and you're sitting here, all your scent blowing down into here. That'd just be a bad spot to sit. All right. So instead of sitting there, you might want to move over and, check out one of these spots over here where your wind's blow out into the field. So it's just a law of averages. You gotta think about where the deer might be going, why they're going there. And then you absolutely got to watch not only how you approach the stand, but where the heck your scent's going. If you're not watching that, you're going to be in a lot of trouble.